Are you doing it? I guess I'll do it then. Perfect.
You do it together. What's up,
Oh,
everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Surf and Sales Podcast. I'm Scott Leese. That's Richard Harris. We're a little rusty.
it's been a minute, man. I think we've done one this year. It's 2026. It's almost March.
Yeah.
And we've decided to change the format a little bit. We've decided that we're thinking we might tap out at episode 500. We might.
Good.
We're still
Count down to 500, I think.
countdown to 500. We are at 480 this episode. As of the recording date of February 24th, 2026, will be our 480th episode, our seventh season. And we're going to change it up a little bit. We've decided to just have the two of us talk about different things that come across our world, come across our desks. There's a lot of things we agree on, a lot of things we disagree on. So we decided to change the format for the next 20 episodes. So we appreciate you being with us. And hopefully we don't bore you or put you to sleep, or if we do put you to sleep and that's what you need, congratulations. We're glad to do it.
Yeah. Do you know how many days 480 hours worth of content is, Richard?
I have not. Well, it's
Done the
more
math?
for me because I'm the one who has to do all the work behind the
True.
scenes.
True.
For
I'm
you,
just
it's
talking about the
480
actual,
hours.
yeah, the 480 hours of actual like recorded content. That's 20 days.
20, 24-hour days. Does that
20
mean
days.
we
It
we could have
means you
just
can
locked
listen.
ourselves?
Yes, for
Yeah,
basically almost a whole month.
that's
You could just
fantastic.
sit and do nothing but listen to the Surf and Sales podcast for the whole month of February, basically.
Man, that's like better
That's a
than
lot of
any
content.
president's club. Better than any president's club
That's
ever.
a lot of content. That's a lot of
So,
content.
all right, today's topic, and we might shift because that's just how we ramble. Returning to office, right? So this is one of those things that's coming back around. I actually like being in an office, even though I've been working from home longer than everybody since about 2012. Um, and Scott, generally speaking, doesn't want to go to an office.
No,
So,
I
Scott,
don't.
what are you hearing from people? Like, is it coming back, or is it just headlines? Like, are still more people being pragmatic from the cost perspective and doing remote?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think the smaller companies, smaller startups are still doing the remote stuff. And then once you've hit a certain scale, it seems like everybody wants you back in the office.
Yeah.
And it feels very much to me like the power dynamics have shifted completely back to the employer has the control and has the power.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has to do with like the AI revolution and the fear of, doom and gloom of, am I going to have a job in
Mm-hmm.
6 months, 12 months, 18 months, or whatever? So I think people are just, sucking it up and having to do what they have to do.
So let me ask you,
Um,
because I know you work with a lot of early stages, right? A lot of founder-led sales stuff. Are you seeing them? Are they asking you, "Hey, Scott, when should we get in office?" Or because I know you're pretty early stage with most of your
yeah.
business, so it may be too premature. But like, are they even asking you this question? And if so, where
No,
do you think that answer is?
they don't really ask that question at all. Sometimes they ask it with the context of, hey, we're looking to grow our sales team from 3 people to 10 people or something like
Uh-huh.
that. Um, if you were going to do that, would you have everybody in the office or would you have everybody remote? You know, and my most of my career prior to 2020, I would definitely have said everybody should be in the office. I built and scaled sales teams. It was always in the office. Then 2020 hit, and it felt very much like, oh, remote, we could do this remote. And so I would build remote team. And they're asking me that question right now, and I really don't have a good answer. The answer I find myself giving has been very dependent upon the situation, the company, who they're selling to, what the sales cycle is, the
Give an example or
seniority and
two.
the seniority of the tenure of the team. Okay, so
Yeah.
an example would be like if we're doing $250,000 deals and we've got a team of 10 and everybody has 10 to 20 years of experience, I don't feel as compelled to say we need an in-office sales organization.
Correct.
But if we're a team full of salespeople who have like 2 years experience total, on average, I'm going to feel more compelled to bring everybody into an office and have more in-person teaching moments and collaborative kind of learning and accelerated ramping potentially. So I think about it a lot like that, you know?
But do you think that the are people now trying to hire geographically again though? Like the whole cool thing about, the
Yeah.
remote thing was that you could hire anybody anywhere, right? And now are, and I just don't know. Like, I'm in the Bay Area and I know the office buildings are starting to fill up again, which is great. Um, is it these early stage founders who like to have everybody in the office? Do you think? Is it, have you noticed any trend there or
No, like I
too
said,
early?
the real early ones, the like seed stage,
Oh yeah.
Series A ones, they're all remote.
Yeah.
It feels like to me. The larger Series A to Series B ones, they're the ones starting to kind of, command people be in the office, want people to be more geographically aligned. I mean, I was helping a client on a account executive search, and somebody lived in San Diego, and the client was in San Francisco, and that was like problematic. You know,
2 years
it's
ago, that would not
that's a
have been
1 hour.
problematic.
No, not at all. It's the same time zone. It's a 1 hour flight, right?
Right.
But now it's problematic. But in the same breath, I have a Series A client that is hiring a VP of sales that they're based in the Bay Area, and they don't care where the VP of
Right.
sales is. So it seems, from my perspective, is very case by case.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
Yeah. But it also sounds like it's case by case based on experience of the sales team. I would assume some level of experience of that leadership team, right? If they're early
I would
stage
agree with
leaders,
that.
right? Early
Yeah,
stage leaders probably need their early stage salespeople all in one location, right? Like
yeah.
they all got to learn from each other, is my opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No,
Um,
I don't disagree with that
yeah.
assessment at all.
Um, and how do you, so let's reverse it, right? So if you're doing, because I've never been a fan of the remote world, right? How do, how do you ensure training and coaching actually occurs, right? Is it all related on, non-sponsored companies, because we won't mention their name because they aren't sponsoring us at the moment, recording softwares, or is it, you know, how did you see that working?
You really have to proactively build it into your day, into your schedule.
Yeah, but I hate buzzwords, Scott. What the fuck does that mean?
What buzzword was
Proactive,
that? Proactive is a
proactively
buzzword?
build it. Yes,
Oh
proactively
my
build it.
God. Okay. You just haven't said buzzwords piss you off in a while. Um, you have to put it in your schedule. You have to say, like, 10 a.m. or whatever. I'm meeting with Richard and we're having a 15-minute chat. And then 10:15, I'm meeting with Scott. I'm having a 15-minute chat. So you have to have like frequent kind of check-ins with people. And they have to be about a specific topic, pipeline management, I don't know, activity coaching, closing, objection handling, whatever the topic is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have to make the most of it. I don't think you want to manage or can manage remotely by having 30 to 60-minute one-on-ones with everybody on your team. The whole day is gone before you know what happened. So
Right.
you have to be very efficient with your time and be very kind of targeted with whatever the topic is and whatever the message is, and kind of get in and get out, but you have to do it regularly,
Yeah.
and you have to not book over it. You have to not cancel it as a manager or as a rep. Um, yeah, and I think if you don't plan it out like that and stay on top of it, it just gets away from you, and then the team and your performance struggles and suffers. But this is part of the logic of why founders, are trying to pull people back into the office, because they find it difficult to develop people remote, difficult to manage people remote. They think ramp times are slower remote. And I
Do
think
you
that's
believe that?
that's a great question. I think I want to say the answer is yes. I think it is harder to do
Yeah.
remotely. I think it requires different skill sets that not that many leaders and managers, are great at or got good at. Um, I think there's just so many opportunities to learn faster when you're in an office and surrounded by all sorts of people. So I think if you have a team of really junior level people, it makes a lot of sense to have everybody in the office. But a team of senior level people,
Yeah.
I just don't really think I need that, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, usually those six-figure deals are, for lack of a better old school phrase, is field sales, right? Where you are still going out to visit people. So
But
proximity to
that's,
where they're
yeah.
to their location and where they're based out of in their territory may be more important than proximity to the home office.
Well, talk about trend lines. The amount of conversations I'm having about field sales has astronomically gone up.
What do you
You
mean?
know, well, Scott, do you think we need to get out in the field and go meet prospects? It's getting harder and harder to get a hold of people on the phone or, email or LinkedIn or whatever, get people to make decisions. So all of a sudden, I'm having conversations left and right about how do I develop a strategy to go out into the field? How
Right.
often should we go? How many appointments in Omaha are needed in order to justify a trip there?
Right.
How often should people go? Is 25 to 50% travel a reasonable expectation to put on account executives?
Right.
And what should our strategy be? Do I just show up and knock on the door unannounced? How do
Right.
I kind of alert them, right? Do I call people up and say, hey, Richard, I'm actually going to be in La Marinda, you know, next Wednesday. Would love to meet up. And then even more specific than that, like, what are we doing? Are you just asking people to get a coffee? Are you asking people to just meet at their office? Is there any creative things that you can do? So this last couple months for me, I've had so many conversations about field sales, basically. People saying, how do I build a field sales team? All of this has really like increased in the last few months for me.
It's so funny because I remember you know, uh, when COVID hit, right? I had all these companies coming to me saying, I've got a field sales team and they don't know how to do inside
Yeah.
sales. Right.
Yeah.
And it's come full circle. And I'm like, really? Like, and I know, look, I think you and we both grew up sort of doing inside sales, right? I did 1 year of outside sales. I hated being a dashboard warrior. It was never my thing, but it was super interesting that people were like, I don't know how to do this from outside to inside. Right. Which to me is not that hard. Like that's a very repetitive, know your process, know your tasks, know the motions you have to go through, to make things happen. Flipping it though from someone who's never done outside sales and they've only done inside sales to outside sales, that feels like a much bigger hurdle. But maybe that's just because of how I was conditioned, through my own career. Because you're right, like what is the meeting? How do I even, if I can't generate a phone call meeting, what makes me think I can generate a in-person meeting? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's what I'm finding is the results seem to indicate a regular sales message might go unanswered or replied to. But a message that says, hey, Richard, I'm actually going to be in Moraga on Tuesday, would love to stop by and just say hello. That message is getting responded to.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Um,
which is so I'll go deeper and say it sounds like people are craving that human touch, right?
it's possible. Yeah, it's
They're,
definitely possible.
you know,
For if no other reason than they know it's real.
right,
They
right.
know
They're looking for that
it's not
IRL.
faked. They know it's not fake. It's not going to
Yeah,
be a, AI slop or auto generated something or
right.
other. It's like I can sit across from you and have a conversation about whatever
Yeah,
is going on in the business, whatever
yeah,
tool you're selling or whatever,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool. What else? Ask me something, dude. I've been interviewing you for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, what I want to know is, have you Claude coded something yet?
I have not Claude coded anything, and I've
Are
not
you
Claude botted.
going, are you going to learn how to do one of those things, or are you just going to say, nah?
What do you think my answer is?
I think you're going to say no thanks. And I think that what you'll do is, and this is, I think, a huge near-term emerging market business opportunity, is I think you'll hire somebody to sort of do that Claude coding bit for you if you have a particular need or a good idea. And I think that will become a real short-term, like powerful service industry type
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
AI
I
my
have.
business. Claude code
Yeah,
this thing for me.
yeah. I haven't. And I have leaned towards not doing it, but I had a conversation at dinner last night, and I am going to start self-educating a little bit more. I think there's some online stuff from Harvard and Stanford around that's free around AI and coding and sort of the future of it. And I do need to be better at that because you know me, I'm a creature of habit, right? I don't
Yeah.
like to get out of my comfort zone. So that is one of my things. I will let you in on a secret. Just for the sake of it, this afternoon, because I have a little bit of time, I'm going to apply for the sales roles at Anthropic
I
and
love that.
ChatGPT,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
Like,
Just for
and
fun.
just for fun, because I'm curious, like, and I know, look, I'm going to write everything myself. I know not to put it in everything. And of course, me and my ego, right? But it's like, where's my resume? Here's my book. Fucking tell me, like, what's my resume? I've trained everybody at Zoom and Salesforce and Gainsight and all these huge
Yeah.
companies in General Electric, right? Like, what more do you want, right?
Well,
Billions in pipeline created. Like,
you know the objections that you're going to get, right?
yeah.
They're going to
So,
say, okay, well, you've been running your own business for,
right,
15 years or whatever.
right, right.
Why are you stopping?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
So, well, I got to even get to that part, right? Like that's the
True.
interesting thing. I think my biggest fear is that I will apply and I'll just get thanks, no thanks. you
Are
know,
you going to get aged out?
I mean, it could be everything from age out to my resume
Yeah.
has great, 100 plus consulting gigs of training people and closing my own business, but I don't have a traditional
Yeah.
resume at this point. So I could see them being
You're
like, who is this guy? He's desperate.
you're not gonna blind apply though.
Oh, no, no, no. I got to put some thought
Yeah.
into it. Like I actually am
You're
going to go
gonna
build something
get an
and
intro from somebody and try to cut the line and
a
whatnot,
little
right?
bit, so we'll see how it goes. So,
Wow.
um, yeah. So if you know anybody over there or anybody listening knows anybody, hit me
Yeah.
up. I'll start applying in the next week and let you know how
That
it
would be
goes.
great. That would be
So,
funny.
so yeah.
Well, and you're doing that just for the sport of it.
I'm doing it because I'm curious to see one, yes, the sport of it, but I'm actually curious to see what that interview process looks like if I can get into that interview. Right. I'm curious to see what they're looking for. What are
What
these
skills?
kinds of companies looking for in an industry that didn't exist? Right. You're almost like it's like you're selling airplanes after the Wright brothers. Right. It's kind of like, okay, we know this works. We know that it's there. I want to understand, like, we talk about how fast AI is moving, but how fast is it moving at that, fortune level? And how is it moving fast versus that startup level who just, as you said, will Claude code anything,
Yeah.
right? So there's a whole bunch of stuff. And then I'm also curious to see what these companies, how they run themselves, right? Like there's a whole lot of curiosity. Not that I want to go write about it or anything. I'm curious. So,
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes,
Well,
you know.
I built. It's terrible, but I built my first thing.
Yeah,
I tried to build this little Claude Code thing that does my taxes for me,
right. AJ's
which,
not going to like that.
well, which independently is a massive business opportunity, I think, for somebody because,
Right.
nobody wants to do their taxes and nobody wants to pay an accountant $10,000 a year or,
Right.
you know, nobody wants to use Intuit or TurboTax or whatever anymore, probably, right? Um, but spit out something. It's very interesting, you know,
How
how
accurate
fast.
do you think it is? I'm sure you're going to
I
compare it
don't
to
think,
age-old.
yeah, I don't think it's very, very accurate. I think I made a million mistakes, but at least I have a working prototype now that I can kind of try to refine. I'll
Right.
definitely put it side by side to my accountant and see like the delta between the two and
Right.
whatnot. Um, but my problem, which I maybe would assume is a lot of business owners' problem or even busy parents and executives' problem, is just where am I supposed to find the time to learn how to do this?
Right.
Because I'm running my business or businesses in my case. I'm still, parenting full time, traveling, all the things that you're doing. And now on top of that, in order to stay relevant, I have to learn this new stuff.
Yeah.
And, everybody's like, you need to be spending, 2 hours a day, like learning AI tools or coding things, whatever. I'm like, fuck, where do I find 2 hours a day
Right.
to work
Right.
on that? Because if I'm working
Right.
on that, I'm not doing something else that I need to do in my life. That's my
Yeah.
challenge right now is I understand the need, I understand the opportunity, and I struggle to prioritize the time required to get good at it because of the sacrifices that result in the near term for me.
Yeah.
That's been hard. That's been hard for me.
Yeah.
That's been hard for me.
That's why it's so easy for me to go, no, I don't think so.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Like,
It's
I don't
not
know if
hard
I'm
to
going to get
find the time. Oh,
right.
to say, nah, I'm not going to do
Yeah.
it.
I'm just not going to do it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Oh
not going to worry about that.
yeah. Well, then do you worry about finding yourself obsolete?
Oh, well, first of all, I'm 10 years older than you. So
I
my
I, I know.
horizon, I have a much shorter horizon. So I do and I don't. Like, I've been talking about this for a while, like I think that when I quote unquote, I don't know that I'll ever officially retire, you know, but I will take business as it comes kind of a thing. Right.
Hmm.
Just because I need to keep busy. Right. But at
Yeah.
some point, I need to go do something else. So um no, I think I would say that the good thing about all the AI for me, is that it is forcing me to lean in a little bit harder. All jokes aside, all the humor I've been saying, it's like it is forcing me to lean in. Like let's say turn around, Anthropic turns around and offers me a job. Do I fucking take it?
Oh
Because I'm
my
sure it's
gosh.
not right.
What an
Like
int what an interesting
dynamic,
decision that
right?
would be. Yeah.
Right. Like it's kind of like, wow, if I want to be relevant and this company sees my value and sees that I have
Yeah.
enough value for them, shouldn't I go do that for 2 or 3 years? Like, what does that set me up
You know,
for?
it also could be a gravy train for two years.
Right. Like there's a
You know?
hundred things that could happen out of that,
Yeah.
and you know what it's like. Like I got to pay my own health insurance. And when
Yeah.
you're a consultant, it's not always
Yeah.
it's hit and miss, right? So
Stressful.
like
It's up and down sometimes.
yeah,
Stressful.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
If you read the news too much, it says all knowledge workers are out of a job in 6 to 18 months anyways. So you better
yeah.
prepare to do something else. It's like,
Yeah, so
oh,
that's the part I don't believe. That is the part
yeah.
I don't believe.
It's been nice
I
to
think
see. It's been nice to see more thought pieces saying the opposite of that.
yes, yes. I
You
think
know?
certain things. Like I was talking to someone last night. I was talking about those thought pieces are to me those are the lawyers and the accountants. But what I think is going to happen is I will go and write something, have whatever write it for me from a legal perspective, and then I'll hand it to my lawyer and say, "Don't do any research. I know it's research. You just tell me what's missing." Right. So now I'm paying them for an hour instead of 4 hours. Right. Like
Yeah.
that's where I think those people get hit. Right. We already do it with doctors. It's like, oh, I've got these 6 things. Hey, doc, I think this is my challenge. What should I do? Right. We already use Dr. Google. right?
Yeah, Dr.
So
Google.
like
Yeah.
it's the same thing. So it's just going to be an interesting time, man. It's
Can
going
you
to be an
imagine
interesting
the
time.
power of if you got that sales role to just try to ring somebody up and be like, "Hey, this is Richard from Anthropic." It's like,
Right.
you think that
Exactly.
you think people would
My
take that
network.
call, their ears perked up a little bit, you know?
The right people would. The people who know
Do you
me.
think do you think I should also apply to these roles and you and I can
No.
compete to
No.
see which one of us gets
No.
farther in the
That's
process?
why. That's why. Because I don't want to lose. So
You might win. You might win.
I'd rather just win in my head. No. Yeah, I mean, why not? Like it's an interesting like
It
granted,
is
you don't
interesting.
have time in your day, right? But
Yeah.
it would be an interesting thing just to like experience that. I mean, it's been so long since I've been through an interview. My
Oh my
expectations
gosh.
are low. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
know.
mean? So
Yeah.
I
You
even if I got the interview, I'd have to check my ego big time.
really
So
hard to be managed.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully I'll get through the process before this episode drops and they go listen.
Well,
Like
you'll have to keep us posted on the progress of
yeah, I
your
mean,
application.
I will, but it's like think about it. It's like they're going to go Google any candidate, right? Or they're going to throw it in their own LLM. You
Yeah,
and I probably have the most amount of information that would overwhelm them when they
probably
research
true.
us, right? Like
Yeah.
to the point of like, what the fuck,
They might
right?
just be like, "Oh, it's too much. I can't even handle this."
Yeah, or like this guy's trying to use us. Like, you know what I mean? Like they could see that too,
Think they
which is
just
not
see
the
through it.
case for those listening. So,
Yeah.
all right,
Well,
brother.
how do you last question since
Yeah,
Surf and Sales is coming up in November.
November.
Just a quick little
Yes,
plug for the Surf and Sales Summit coming up in November 18th to 22nd, I believe, of this
yes,
year. We've sold a few tickets. We
we did.
usually, yep, we've sold a few tickets. You are blissfully unaware. You're working on other things. I've sold a few tickets. We are chipping away towards June, July. We usually sell out in the summer.
We do.
My question is, what do you think people will want to talk about the most at Surf and Sales?
It's
If you
gonna
had to
be
guess.
yeah, it's gonna be AI, right? In a more structured way. I think, when we did it in Portugal, back in October, it'll be interesting, right? Because it'll be 13 months since we last did it, right? Um, it still felt a little more unclear, new, scary, etc. Now I think there will be more clarity, um, and some more scaries, and
Yeah.
hopefully a stronger sense of where this is headed. Like I think everybody will like to know their fears will be answered. Am I losing
Mm.
my job? How fast am
Yeah.
I losing my job? What is the latest? And now there's more use cases of how to do this, right?
Yeah.
Like the Claude code thing, right? Like,
Hmm.
I'm still looking at the Clawbot thing, right? That new thing that's coming out, or that's out. Um, and I think that's where people are going to try and figure out, how do I build this into my daily life? Whereas before it was more research mode, maybe it's more execution. Like, how
Yeah.
can I execute on this
I like
stuff?
that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my belief. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that a lot. How to move more from what is this and what do I need to pay attention to what do I build that makes my life better?
Yeah. How do I use
Yeah.
this? Right.
Yeah.
So
Even if it's
it'll
not,
be interesting.
even if it's not commercially, even if it's just internally for yourself,
Yeah.
like, hey, I have 5 doctor's appointments that I need to make. Can I clawbot something that just like schedules
I
my
just,
doctor's appointments for me while I'm on
yeah.
the Surf and Sales podcast? That
Right.
I would want that. I would use that,
So
right?
I actually had to make a bunch of doctor's appointments yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Hey,
So, but,
we
but it
shouldn't be
doesn't,
spending. We're at a world now, Richard, where you could argue you and I should not be spending our time making these appointments.
well, I think that's the point of the use case thing of like, this comes back to the generational thing. We're growing into it from the outside. We're not native,
Yeah,
right?
true.
Our kids are much more native social media. We were forced into social media. Now it's just a part of their day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like those things are just uniquely inherent to them. Um, Whereas for us, we have to stop and actually think about it
right.
and make a conscious effort. And I think that's the difference. which will also be interesting at Surf and Sales generationally, how people see that, right? Like
Yeah.
how will the old fuckers like me and the
Like
medium old
us.
fuckers like
Yeah.
you
Like me. Yeah. Yeah.
compared to the 20 somethings who come in and be like, they probably Claude coded 20 things. And we'd be like, fuck, really?
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah.
hard?
We'll
Oh,
let
okay.
we'll let them run the session. So hey, if you want to come to Serpent Sales and you're a
Yes.
AI cloud coding wizard, maybe we'll give you a speaking slot
We'd love you to.
at the event. So
Yeah.
all right, everybody. That's
All right,
episode
brother.
480. We are 20
480.
episodes ago till 500. Richard and I are going to be counting them down week by week. We'll see you all next time at the Serpent Sales podcast.
See everybody.